Welcome to Man in Progress, Forging Manhood. I'm Travis Murray, values coach and your guide to building a life driven by real values. Each week we explore what it means to be a man today, talk about and to thinkers and doers who've been through it, and give you steps to show up better for yourself and those you love. If you're ready to forge your own path, you're in the right place. Let's get to it. Steel hisses as it leaves the quench. It looks strong, but it will burn your hand. Scale still clings to its face. The edge bites indiscriminately. That is a man who has survived his test. He feels fire in his veins, but he hasn't smoothed the burrs or built the grip. Today, we dress the blade. We scrape away bitterness that hides beneath the heat. We carve a handle that fits the hand. We fit a guard. We sharpen for purpose. Strength that cannot be carried is just a weapon waiting to wound. We ended last time with the quench, a sudden crisis that shows whether your values are solid or just surface polish. Some of you are dealing with issues like lost job, sick children, arguments that erupted into silence. Some of you held the line. Some of you cracked. That honesty matters. The forge is honest. A value that hasn't been tested is brittle. A value that survives its first crisis still needs finished work. Raw steel fresh from the water is uneven. It's black with scale. The edge is jagged. And if you swing it now, you will cut yourself more than anything else. That is where many men stop. They survive a storm and think the work is done. They start swinging their rough edge at every problem, at their wife, at their children, at their coworkers, and wonder why everyone bleeds. 1,000 years ago, a blacksmith's work was slower. He pumped bellows by hand. He burned charcoal to heat the iron. He used stones and files to smooth the blade. Today, propane forges heat steel quickly. Power tools grind it clean. The tools have changed, but the process hasn't. Heat, hammer, quench, polish, sharpen. This is the life of a blade. This is the life of a man. You will go through these stages again and again. Each time, you will learn something new. And each time, you remove more of what doesn't belong. Each time, you build a better grip. Think about the last week. Where did you carry your value with care? Where did you swing it recklessly? Maybe you survived the quench of a sudden argument and didn't yell. But then, you carried that raw edge into a different room and cut someone else. Maybe you showed courage at work, but used that courage to bulldoze your partner later. Maybe you held your integrity when tempted with a shortcut, then lied to your son about why you were late or didn't show up at all. These are the splinters left behind after the quench. They're not proof of your weakness. They're proof you're still being forged. Today we slow down the pace. We step out of the roar of the furnace and into the steady rasp of the file. We lean into rhythm of removal, the patience of polish, the craft of handle making, the precision of sharpening. We listen for the small click that tells us the guard is seated. We carry the finished blade into a single test, then back to the bench for adjustments. We will use stories from men across history who embodied these steps, from Frederick Douglass scraping away bitterness, to Marcus Aurelius writing down reflections to stay anchored under empire, from George Washington Carver's disciplined stewardship of soil, to Desmond Doss's unwavering boundaries on a battlefield. You are not rushing. You are refining. Your goal is not to show off a blade. Your goal is to carry it without harm. So let's work. Fresh from the quench, steel is covered in black scale, a crust of iron oxide that forms in the fire. If you leave it, the edge chips. It hides flaws. It dulls the blade. The first step in finishing is to remove it. In men, the scale is bitterness, cynicism, sarcasm masquerading as humor, or cruelty masquerading as honesty. It's the leftover heat that never found direction. It may look dark and tough. It is simply slag that must go. Physiology reinforces this. Chronic stress and unresolved anger keep your nervous system in fight mode. Cortisol stays high. Your heart rate never fully settles. Your breathing remains shallow. Studies show that practices of forgiveness and gratitude lower inflammatory markers and improve heart rate variability. signs of a calmer, more resilient body. Polishing is not weakness, it's maintenance. It lowers the internal heat so your edge can cut straight. Frederick Douglass is a master polisher. He escaped slavery, taught himself to read, and became a fierce abolitionist. He carried a value of human dignity. He could have wielded his rage like a club, justified anger, forged in chains. Instead, he scraped away the scale of bitterness without losing the sharpness of truth. In his speeches and writing, he didn't spare those who defended slavery, but he refused to let cruelty infect his message. He knew cruelty would dull his impact. His words cut clean because he polished his edge daily, through study, through disciplined speech, through refusal to dehumanize his enemies. How do you polish your own value? First, identify behaviors pretending to be your value. If your value is honesty, where are you using, "I'm just being honest," as an excuse to hurt? If your value is courage, where are you using it to justify recklessness? If your value is loyalty, where have you turned it into enabling? Write these down. This is not my value. This is scale. Say them aloud, then choose one to remove for a week. Replace cruel honesty with clear honesty. Replace reckless courage with timed courage. Replace avoidant loyalty with loyal truth. This is slow, irritating work. You'll feel the rasp. You'll see metal dust. You will not see the sparks. That's fine. This is what makes a blade usable. Polishing also means addressing internal scale, unprocessed shame, resentment you still carry. If you're bitter at your father, your ex, your boss, your past self, that bitterness corrodes your value. Polishing may involve confession, therapy, writing unsent letters, forgiving from a distance. Scrape off the layer that prevents your value from shining. Take this week and pick one behavior, one inner bitterness. Commit to one daily action to remove it. At the end of the day, note whether you caught yourself sliding back. When you do, don't shame yourself. That's just more scale. Return to the file. Gentle, consistent strokes. You are revealing the steel underneath. You are not softening the blade. You are making it true. Sharp truth without polish is cruelty. Remove the scale so love doesn't bleed when you speak. A polished blade without a handle is useless. You can't carry it. You can't use it under rain or sweat. The handle gives you control. It balances the blade. It keeps it from twisting out of your hand. In the life of a man, the handle is his system, habits, rhythms, disciplines, small things done consistently that allow you to carry your value under pressure. Modern research into habit formation shows that repetition builds neural pathways. Each time you choose a behavior, your brain lays myelin, an insulating sheath around the corresponding neurons. This makes the pathway faster and more automatic. Over time, the behavior feels natural. That's why discipline over moods matters. You can't wait for motivation. You design a handle that your hand can grip every day. George Washington Carver is a picture of this. Born into slavery, he became a scientist who revolutionized agriculture in the American South. He believed in stewardship, caring for soil, people, and knowledge. Carver's brilliance wasn't a single breakthrough. It was daily discipline. He woke before sunrise, walked in the woods, listened to the land. He studied by candlelight. He taught farmers crop rotation and soil renewal. He built a handle that fit his hand and the hands of those he served. Nothing glamorous, all function. He refused to patent many of his discoveries because he believed knowledge was meant to be shared. His value of stewardship was carried through routines that made him dependable. Storms came, droughts came. Carver kept his grip. Your handle needs 3 pins to stay tight. The first pin is your morning anchor. Within the first hour of waking, you act on your value. If your value is truth, you send a message you've been avoiding. If it's courage, you make the hard phone call. If it's loyalty, you schedule a one-on-one with someone you've been neglecting. Your first hour sets the tone. It tells the nervous system, this is what matters. The second pin is your midday reset. At lunch or mid-afternoon, ask yourself, have I drifted? If yes, do one small realignment. Maybe you close the browser tab and open the draft you've been avoiding. Maybe you take a walk and call your wife to check in. This resets your hand on the handle. It keeps the blade from slipping because you're sweaty or tired. The third pin is your evening review. Before bed, write 3 lines. Where did my values show up today? Where did I fake it? And what will I do by 10 a.m. tomorrow? This keeps you humble. It prevents self-deception. It readies you for the next hammer blow. Handles are made of layers of wood or leather pinned through the tang of the blade. They're shaped to your hand, not someone else's. Your system should fit your life. If your morning anchor isn't at 5 a.m., but at 7 because you work nights, that's fine. If your evening review happens after the kids are down, that's fine. The point is not the clock, it's the consistent placement of your hands around your value every day. Systems are the handle. Without them, your strength slides out of your own hand. Between a blade and the handle sits a guard. In a sword, it's the crosspiece. In a knife, it's the bolster. It keeps your fingers from sliding onto the edge when you meet resistance. It keeps your value from running through someone when momentum carries you forward. In a man, the guard is his boundary. It protects what matters. It prevents strength from becoming harm. Without it, the best blade will cut the one who wields it. Boundaries are often misunderstood. Some men think boundaries are weakness or cowardice. A real man never draws lines, they say. They confuse bluntness with bravery and domination with strength. In reality, boundaries are what make strength safe. A dam channels water's power into electricity. A guard channels a blade's power into precision. A boundary channels a value into life-giving action rather than destruction. Desmond Doss knew this intimately. A Seventh-day Adventist who refused to carry a rifle during World War II, Doss enlisted as a combat medic. His value was conviction, no killing, even in war. His boundary was clear. He would serve, but he would not carry a weapon. Many mocked him. Some threatened him. In training, fellow soldiers tried to get him discharged. But Doss's boundary held. On Okinawa, under heavy fire, he repeatedly ran into gunfire to rescue wounded soldiers. He lowered them down a cliff using a rope he'd tied with knots he practiced as a boy. He saved at least 75 men. His boundary didn't make him passive. It made him precise. He channeled all his courage and strength into healing, not killing. This week, pick one boundary tied to your value. Make it explicit. Write it down. If your value is truth, your boundary might be, I will not lie to myself or others to keep the peace. If your value is courage, your boundary could be, I will not confuse courage with cruelty. I will speak up without demeaning. If your value is loyalty, your boundary might be, I will stand by you, but I will not protect what is rotting. I will tell the truth, even when it risks rejection. Share your boundary with someone who can hold you accountable. Boundaries are stronger when spoken. And on that note, share this podcast with somebody that can hold you accountable. Boundaries also protect your family from your blade. A man who values truth without a guard can devastate his partner with blunt honesty. A man who values discipline without a guard can turn his home into a drill camp. A guard means you consider timing, tone, and context. It means you pause before unsheathing the blade. It means you don't discipline your kids out of anger. You discipline out of love and explanation. It means you communicate clearly with your wife rather than dumping unprocessed frustration. It means you protect your own heart. No texting an ex when you're lonely. No staying up late scrolling images that erode your integrity. No stepping into online fights that waste your energy. Fitting a guard takes finesse. It's not just hammered on. It is ground to match the tang and pressed in place. If it doesn't fit, the smith adjusts the tang or the guard until the match is tight. Sometimes you'll try a boundary and it doesn't fit. Maybe you set a rule you can't keep or one that punishes rather than protects. Adjust it. The goal is not rigid rule keeping, it's clarity that supports the life of your value. Boundaries don't make you less brave, they make you precise. A polished, handled, guarded blade needs one final touch: sharpening. The smith sets the angle against a stone and pulls the blade across again and again. Too steep and the edge chips, too shallow and it won't cut. He flips the blade, feels for a burr, and repeats. Sharpening is not violent, it's exact, it's repetitive, it turns potential into function. In neuroscience, sharpening is about focusing on a single micro action. The brain's reticular activating system selects what to notice and what to ignore. When you choose a tiny discipline and repeat it, you train your brain to pay attention. You create a reflex. Olympic archers don't think about every muscle when they release the arrow. They repeated the angle thousands of times until it's automatic. This is sharpening. Miyamoto Musashi knew this. We spoke of him in earlier episodes as a duelist. Today we highlight his discipline. Musashi wrote about the way in which you should focus your mind. He practiced cuts thousands of times, alone on mountain paths. The katanas of his era were sharpened with water stones, each finer than the last. Musashi mirrored this: coarse practice, then finer, then finer. He didn't change his angle every day, he set it and stayed with it. For you, sharpening means choosing one small behavior that supports your value and repeating it daily for a week. The smaller, the better. If your value is compassion, your sharpening might be a 2-minute daily reflection on someone else's perspective before you act. If your value is courage, maybe it's a 3-second step into discomfort before you speak. If your value is responsibility, perhaps it's 5 minutes of planning tomorrow's priorities tonight. Do this at the same time and place every day. This is your whetstone. Then carry your blade. A blade is not finished on the bench. It needs to be worn, drawn, used. But you don't swing it at everything to show you have one. You carry it with respect. You use it for its purpose. You learn where it bites and where it slips. You adjust. In your life, this means scheduling one conversation or decision where you deliberately use your polished value, handle, guard, and sharpened edge. Name the situation now: a discussion with your wife about finances, an honest talk with your teenage son about his choices, an apology to someone you hurt. Prepare for it. Write your value at the top of your notes. Breathe before you speak. Use your morning anchor and midday reset to steady yourself. After the conversation, review. Did your polish hold? Did your handle help? Did your guard protect? Did your edge cut what needed cutting? Where did you slip? Do not congratulate or condemn yourself. Simply note, then adjust. If you're a father, take this field test into your parenting. Children remember what you model more than what you preach. If your value is patience, your field test might be to sit on the floor and play with your toddler without checking your phone. If your value is integrity, your field test might be to admit to your teenager when you were wrong. These actions sharpen the blade and strengthen the handle. They teach your children what forged manhood looks like. Most men don't need more motivation. They need a repeatable angle and 5 minutes a day. Carry your value like a tool, not a trophy. Fix the fit. Use it where it matters. You've been through the fire, the hammer, the quench, and now the dressing. You've learned that strength without polish is cruelty, that a blade without a handle slips, that boundaries make you precise, not weak, that sharpening happens through small, exact motions, repeated, and that a blade must be carried with intention, not flashed around for attention. Your homework this week is a 5-part drill. Number 1, polish. Identify one behavior or bitter scale that disguises your value. Remove it for 7 days. 2, handle. Use 3 pins: morning anchor, midday reset, and evening review to keep your grip. 3, guard. Set one boundary tied to your value. Write it down, share it, hold to it. 4, sharpen. Choose one 5-minute daily action that supports your value. Repeat it every day at the same time. This is your whetstone. 5, carry. Plan one conversation or decision where you will use your value with polish, handle, guard, and sharpened edge. Schedule it and review it afterward. Write these steps where you can see them. Share them with another man. Accountability is part of the forge. We are not lone smiths. We learn from each other. We remind each other of the process. We encourage each other to return to the fire when cracks appear. Next episode, we will build the sheath. It is the leather or wood that protects your blade when you're tired, when the day is long, when temptation whispers. It keeps you from accidentally cutting others and yourself when you're not in a fight. It is rest, ritual, and restraint. We will learn from men like Nelson Mandela and Viktor Frankl, who carried their values through captivity and emerged with grace. Remember this: you're not broken, you're not behind, you're not a failure because you feel the rasp or see the burr. You are a man in progress. Real manhood isn't a crown, it's a hammer and a file. It's refusing to let bitter scale hide your value. It's building a handle that fits your hand. It's drawing boundaries that make you precise. It's sharpening on tiny stones. It's carrying your value into conversations with humility and courage. Pick up your hammer. Step back into the forge. Go to work.